Testing.
You know what's funny?
What?
I thought we were going to be matching. When
Today?
I got this out of my closet, yeah, I really actually did. And I almost texted you, and I didn't. But
If you're listening and you're not watching this, I'm wearing a red button down from the 90s, and Madeline's wearing a purple button down from the 90s. And I'm glad you didn't text me because I wouldn't have changed. Because like this is all when you're like, this is all I have right now.
this is what you're wearing.
All right. Well,
Let's see how that sounded. Hi, Charlotte.
Madeline, hello.
We're back.
We sure are.
And we have a very, very special episode for you today.
Yes, we are thrilled about this. You might have heard of a podcast called I've Had It. It's a big deal.
They've had on some very big guests, including former President Barack Obama.
Zohran Mamdani, candidate for mayor of New York City. They are Angie Sullivan, who is our guest today. Her co-host, Jennifer Welch. Just like really cool ladies who say the truth. And they have a lot of followers. So when I don't know. She was like, I'll come on our show.
Yeah.
And we were like, what?
We're like, really? Angie followed the show and she listens, which is so lovely.
I know. We're like,
I was like, really? You listen? And she is a huge sports fan, huge Oklahoma fan, Oklahoma City Thunder fan. It was really such an incredible conversation. I really loved it.
Yes, it felt really good. It felt important. Hopefully you're either thrilled by it or pissed off by it. And either way you engage with our content.
Yeah.
So without further ado, here she is. Oh,
What?
real quick.
What?
If you're listening with little kids, there are a couple swear words.
Couple swear words.
But I mean, they hear it anyway, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
Just telling you in advance.
Okay. Here she is.
Enjoy.
We are so thrilled to welcome Angie Sullivan. You are a co-host of the I've Had It podcast and co-author of the new book, Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches.
Yes.
We are so thrilled to have you. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. I watch your show all the time. I feel like we're all girlfriends.
Yeah. Well, we watch your show
Yes.
all the time.
Truly.
Which is funny because we really don't watch a ton of shows, to
No.
be honest,
No.
even though we make one.
Yeah.
So
I know Jennifer never listens to podcasts, my co-host. She never listens.
Yeah. I feel like it's either you listen to a lot of podcasts if you have a podcast or you don't really listen to any. But I do feel like there's an advantage, I've said this to you, of not listening to many so you don't like form opinions on how you should speak on a podcast. Because there's certainly like podcast voices and kind of like transition words people use in sentences on podcasts that I feel like it's good to kind of have blinders on.
we're just shooting from the hip here, Angie.
Yeah. Well, I feel the same.
Yeah.
Probably why it's successful.
Yeah, I think let's get right into that because I read an interview with you and Jennifer in Rolling Stone, and something you said was so true to me and sort of got to the heart of where we are both politically and just socially, which is, talking about how you don't want to be a pick-me podcast. Like you don't want to be a podcast that just everybody likes. What you want to do is stand on your conviction, and that the listeners will come from that. And obviously you two are leftists in a red state world, or where you are in Oklahoma. And so was that did you and Jennifer have a conscious conversation, sit down where you were like, you know what, screw it, we're letting loose, or was that always the plan?
No, we never in a million years thought it would become political. But we are both by nature into politics. And I'll be honest, until I thought during Trump 1.0, I thought he was drunk when he was posting this stuff on Twitter. And I just made the comment to her, like, one of his aides needs to take his phone at night after he starts drinking. And that's how out of the loop I was. And she was like, oh no, he's a famous teetotaler. And I was just like, what? And so we got into, I was raised super evangelical, very Republican, because when you go to church on Sunday, you vote Republican if you're an evangelical Christian. So it was kind of like when I got to college and did all that, but I really didn't I voted for Obama, I voted for Clinton, and I did all that stuff, but I didn't change my party. But I've now changed my party. It's funny because people have been like, "You were a registered Democrat or a registered Republican in 2016 or whatever," and I'm like, "Yeah, I never knew I had to change my party."
Right.
But now it's like a personal, like, make sure I'm not in that party.
Right.
But anyway, and we even had advice from our podcasting company. The president of the company was like, "Do not talk about politics. Avoid it at all costs." And we were both kind of like, is he telling us what we can do on our podcast?
Right. Yeah.
So it was kind of one of those. And then it just got so crazy because we live in abortion ban America. So women have no rights to reproductive freedom. So that kind of spurred it. And then it just gets crazier and crazier. So that it just evolved naturally because we both feel very strongly. But it's funny because when we first started the podcast, we broke so many hearts. You would not believe people that thought, "Oh, it's Kellyanne Conway and Megyn Kelly. And they have Southern accents and they're middle-aged and they live in Oklahoma." And it was like really hurt feelings when they found out we were very liberal.
Wow. Was there a turning point when you decided to kind of come out as liberal on the show? Was it a particular topic or episode, or it just kind of happened naturally over time and then eventually people picked up on it?
I think that we talked about it. Like if you were a serious listener, you could tell, but we never like said it straight up. Mm-hmm. But then when that, the man in charge of the podcasting company was like, "Don't talk about politics. You need to avoid that." We were just like, screw you.
Right.
Like, you're not the boss of me kind of thing because we own they sell ads for the podcast, but we own it. And
right.
So, I don't think it was like, we never had a conversation about it. It was just like a topic would come up because sometimes we read emails or calls or voice memos or whatever. So it kind of came out that way, but it was very organic.
If we're lucky, we should be so lucky to become half of what you and Jennifer are now as we keep doing this show, because that's the same thing with us. Like the best way to get us to do something is to tell us not to do it, right? We're like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay, here, but on our show, I think listeners, if you listen, we're very pro-union. Like we talk about sports in a way that is clearly coming from a left-leaning position because both of us are. But I don't think we've ever explicitly talked about politics except, condemning some of the more heinous things that happen. If it's a Tuesday and we have to record, but some horrible news broke, we're like, all right, well, we'll address it. But that's part of why we've been excited to have you on, because it feels like, screw it. Like this is our perspective. Yeah. Sports are inherently political. It doesn't mean we'll get on a soapbox every week or whatever, but like, I'm interested, Madeline, how you felt about it, because it's something that we've sort of inched towards, and now it's like, well, we got pumps, like let's rip the Band-Aid off.
Well, not to say the name of your podcast, but I've kind of had it with tiptoeing. Like it. I mean, I grew up in the South. I grew up in like a liberal pocket in Atlanta, but it was still the South, and there was always a lot of tiptoeing culture, like, or signals of someone like, oh, they're like, oh, maybe they're more conservative or not, whatever. Like I was in a sorority, but like most of the women in my sorority were not liberal, but I parted my hair down the middle, so they used to say I was different, and I'm like,
right, you were a hippie.
Yes, I was a hippie.
Wait, really?
Oh yeah, a girl. Yes, I mean, listen, I don't know if she was a conservative, but it felt like a little dig without saying it. And so I think I'm just over the tiptoeing culture. It's like, just own your beliefs, and right. People always talk, I think, about sports of like, it's this way to bring people together from different backgrounds, which I do think it is. But I still think, to your point, at the end of the day, like sports they are still very political.
Yes.
Very.
I don't think there's a world where you can really distinguish the sports and politics anymore, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, and especially, just the most recent example is Charlie Kirk's death, which we all condemn.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Wholeheartedly condemn. I have so much empathy for his wife and his children, his parents, whatever. But at the end of the day, the things that he said were racist and despicable. And it really bothered me that the NFL, because what he said about black women was not nice. I mean, it was really, really ugly. And I thought, most of the men in this league are African American, if not most, a large majority. And I just kind of felt icky about that.
Yeah.
And then, but I'm like, okay, there's 32 owners, 31 are generationally wealthy white men. So I'm not shocked.
Right.
And then when they picked Bad Bunny, and here's the deal, I wouldn't know a Bad Bunny song if it came up and bit me on the ass. But I am like, since they're so mad about it, I'm like, I can't wait for Bad Bunny.
Yeah. Oh, he'll be amazing.
Because I'm like, why don't you just say I'm a racist? Just
Right.
say I'm a racist and I want only white Americans that were born in Alabama to sing at the Super Bowl. I mean, Bad Bunny is American.
Right.
Yeah. Also, like, tell me you don't know that Puerto Rico is a part of the United States without telling me you don't know
Right.
that Puerto Rico.
Right.
Like,
It's so crazy. But yeah, everything about it. So I often, okay, I've been dying to ask you guys this.
What?
yes.
Okay, so I look at the Dallas Cowboys organization in a lot of ways like I look at the Trump administration. You have somebody old at the top that still wants to be relevant, but nobody can give a better idea or contradict or say anything constructively criticizing. And I kind of feel like it's the same thing. And I'm like, the through line is they're both bad. Like the Cowboys, not doing well.
Right.
United States, not doing well. Like
Both
right
taken
here.
a lot of L's in the
Yes.
past 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they both, I would say, like the Trump administration and the Cowboys, I guess you could say administration, they both tried to represent, like, we are America. We are like American. We are America's team. They literally say they're America's team. It's so rare. I totally see the parallels.
Also, the family business aspect of it.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't think it's a coincidence that both Trump and, I mean, maybe it's a coincidence, but it certainly tells you something about where we are. That, Trump has his daughter Ivanka, and then Jerry has his daughter Charlotte.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sort of doing we did a review of the Cowboys doc on Netflix, and we were like, oh my gosh, they don't interview another woman besides Charlotte Jones until the 7th episode, and I think there are 8.
yeah.
Really? See, I
Yes.
haven't watched it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's interesting.
just
but-
watch episode 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need to watch the Jerry pining after his days of winning a college football national championship for 7 episodes. But you're in Oklahoma.
Yes.
And how much of, I'm so curious. I actually covered an Oklahoma game a couple years ago when I was doing a college football tour. Not to brag, I went to where the ponies, Boomer and Sooner,
Really?
live.
Wow.
I sat on
Impressive.
the little wagon. Yes, thank you.
Did you get on the wagon?
I did. Not during a game, but I wore. I had also never ridden a horse before, and I'm from the Northeast, Angie. I'm like very this was.
Charlotte's very Northeast.
Yeah, it was like putting a fish in a high rise, but I tried to adapt. No, but I was so struck by this feeling of, if not togetherness, you're all in it for the same. It's Oklahoma, and so in that sense, I think like sports are a really lovely feeling right now where you can go. But do you go to games? Like, what is your experience of being an OU fan in a more conservative place?
Okay, so my parents divorced when I was like 3. And so I did visitation exchanges at the OU football games. Like I
Stop.
would go from my parents' seat to my mom's seats to my dad's seats. Like that was the visitation exchange. So I've literally been going as long as I can remember. Now that I've gotten older, I'm like, I don't go to games unless it's, because it's 105 degrees in the shade. Everybody's packed in there. I'm just like, I don't go to games until like November when it's cooled off, because I've gotten really grumpy in my old age. And I'm just like, if I don't want to do it, I just don't do it. So, but I've always been a big OU fan. And it's funny because I think sports does unite everyone. And when you were talking about being in a sorority, Madeline, in the South, I was in a sorority in the South, and I think we were all Republicans.
Yeah.
But now all of our, as we've gotten into the world, we've all moved left. And even though Oklahoma is so proud to say they've never had any, district go blue in terms of voting for president. They, like, Oklahoma City is very progressive.
Yeah.
It's like literally 49.8, 48.2 or whatever the math is. We have a super progressive mayor. So Oklahoma City is really good. And you would just be surprised, because if you disagree in a southern state, I don't know if you've had this experience, but you just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just not something you talk about. And people will say, I don't want to talk about politics if they know you disagree. So I feel like that it is a reprieve in that sense from all the political discourse and everything. But the people that I run around with and that I've been friends forever, we've all progressively moved more towards the Democratic Party. Now, my parents are still Fox snorting, all in MAGA. And when we talk about it, I'm just like, that just makes me sad.
Yeah.
And leave it at that. We don't argue about it, though.
Yeah. I feel like that's the only option. The path of least resistance sometimes is the only option, unfortunately. Do you feel like within the sports fandoms, like Oklahoma City Thunder fandom, would you say it's a different, the NBA is like a very liberal leaning league, but do you feel like being like an Oklahoma City Thunder fan is a very different experience than being an OU fan? Or would you say it's similar that people are kind of like, oh, we come together, we just don't talk about politics, or would you say it's different?
Okay. So being an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, and I'm a huge fan, but when you go to games, they pray before they do the jump ball. We are the only place in the NBA that does that.
Wait, in the arena, fans?
Yes.
I went to a preseason game last year. I forgot about this. They have a chaplain who says a convocation. And I was standing there. Also, I'm Jewish, so I was like, oh, this isn't for me.
Not for you.
Right, this is not it.
What?
Now, they have had a Jewish rabbi, a female Jewish rabbi.
All right.
And I saw her, and I was like, good for you. Thank you for doing that. But
that's interesting.
So that's funny. And when you go to these games, I went to one in Indiana during the playoffs, too. You notice, like when you see the New York Knicks fans, it's like such a diverse group. You see every color, every race, everything. When you go to an Oklahoma City Thunder game, you're 85% white, but that's Oklahoma.
Right.
It's not a hugely diverse place, which is why I think it is so behind the times in terms of equality, because, these people in rural Oklahoma, they've never really been around anyone that wasn't Republican, white, that went to their church. It's very homogenous. So I do notice how white it is. And then the prayer always just gives me the jeeps. And this is funny. So at one of the games, Adam Silver was there. It might have been Shea when he got the MVP.
Yes.
And he has his little executives. And I was sitting either behind or in front, I can't remember. But when the guys started praying, these two executives look, and they were in suits. They came in with, so you knew, and they look at each other like, they're praying. And then the whole crowd will say, amen.
Yes.
That is crazy.
And these executives were like, they were blown away. Not Adam Silver, but these two men that were with them, it blew their minds.
I can't believe that. I guess that's the league is fine with it because the owners are just like, we're doing this. This is our arena.
Yeah,
we're doing this, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
the league doesn't have a say. I mean, clearly,
yeah. No,
or I guess
that's
it would be happening across the league if it was a league mandate.
Oh, yeah.
We're the only place.
That's wild.
Yeah,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, no, it's so fascinating. I'm really glad that I work in sports, obviously, because I love it and it's really fun. But also, I've just been to places I would never have gone.
Right.
And I think that it has showed me, especially the college football tour through the South, where, a lot of people I know in the Northeast just haven't spent time there. And you realize like, oh, this is a complicated, nuanced place. People surprise you. Like, yes, certain stereotypes largely can play out, but there's something, I almost feel like everybody in America should have to go on a sports tour. Like,
Yes.
pick your favorite sport, and if you live in the South, you have to go to a bunch of games in the Northeast. If you live in the Northeast, if you live in the West, like maybe there's some sort of like exchange program with sports, because like people would actually want to do that.
That would be amazing.
Well, I've grown up going to OU games my whole life. And when my daughter was doing college tours, and she's in her first year of graduate school, so it's been like 6 years, 5 years, whatever. We happened to be visiting Alabama the weekend of the Georgia-Alabama game. College game day was there. I mean, it was magical. And I was blown away. I was blown away. And the best thing about it, because I smoked forever and ever and ever, they still had a smoking section.
No.
Like, we walked by and these guys were burning cigarettes in the stadium. And I looked at my daughter and I was like, if I still smoked, I would be right there with those people.
My
I was going to say, did you have a cigarette
No, I
there?
quit.
Well,
good for you.
It makes me want to. When I see people at a college football stadium just burning up, I'm like, I'm in on it.
Honestly, I'd rather see people smoke a cigarette than vape. It's like, just smoke a cigarette.
Now.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. Here's what I'm saying. I'm like, Angie, smoke a cigarette.
Smoke a cigarette, Angie.
I know. It's way cooler. It is so much
cool.
cooler.
It's like, if you're already doing it, smoke a cigarette. You know?
I know it probably is.
Yeah, no one's smoking,
better
for the record,
better
but,
for you.
Yeah.
You know,
But you mentioned your kids, and I was an athlete. My poor mother would schlep around every weekend to different volleyball tournaments in like Mobile, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, Nashville, like you name it. I was going around. I'm curious what your experience was like as a parent of your children who played sports, because there was always so much drama with the parents and the coaches. Did you find that was your experience, that you got locked into the drama, the interpersonal drama of being a parent of children who play sports?
It's unbelievable. These parents, and I see, they just had this new study that all these kids are living at home and they don't know, they take their parents to work and their parents write an email to their boss. And I'm like, no shit. Because you look at, okay, so my daughter's was a dancer. My boys played football, basketball, whatever. But every parent thought that their child playing basketball was the next LeBron James.
Believe it.
Going pro, baby.
And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, LeBron James at 16, everybody in the world knew who he was.
Yes.
Right.
He looked different. Your little prepubescent 18-year-old is never going to be an NBA player, but they're so vested. So my theory is they did not realize the potential that they thought they had. And so now they're doing it through their kids. But I will never forget, my first dance competition, Emily was 8, and they roll out super short bra tops and little shanties, and I was just horrified the first time it happened, makeup, hair. And then by a year later, I was just like, oh yeah, do your own makeup. I mean, you just get immune to it. But women crying that their daughter didn't win.
The moms?
My kid got screwed out of and I'm just like, enough.
Right.
Come on. Give it life.
I feel like it's gotten worse as time has gone on.
It's way worse.
Now I feel like there are so many leagues where these kids are decked out in full Nike, Adidas, full outfits, full gear. They have hype videos for these teams, and it's a 11-year-old baseball team that maybe one kid would make it to the minors.
Might play D3.
Maybe.
Right.
I feel like it's gotten worse.
Scholarship.
Yes.
Because everybody's like, well, because it is so expensive. I mean, this stuff is so unbelievably expensive because you have to go to all these little towns and then you have to get a hotel.
Yes.
And it's my kids were good. They were good high school athletes, you know. Right. Did they set the world on fire? No. Did I expect them to set the world on fire? No. But the time and the money, my youngest is a sophomore in college. I was so happy when he graduated because I was like, I don't have to go to soccer. I don't have to go to football. I don't have to go to basketball. I don't have to go to 27 parent meetings and 48 group texts on who wants to bring snacks. And I'm like, they can drive a car. If they're hungry, they can go get a snack. I don't need to go buy any. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
bad it is.
it's sort of the professionalization of everything. It
Yeah.
feels like, and in the sports world, we joke on the show like when we have kids, like our kids are not going to have a chance to be professional athletes because all the professional athletes are having kids with other professional athletes. So there's this like super class of athlete that like
Nepo athlete.
and my husband's very athletic, but I'm like, we're going to have someone be like the coxswain and crew at this point. Like the way,
Manager.
But, yeah, manager. Great.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
When it comes to something else you said in this Rolling Stone article that I really resonated with me was when you said you or Jennifer were talking about how you've been categorized as like mom podcasters.
Right.
And you were like, well, the Pod Save America guys aren't called dad podcasters.
Right.
And I think doing this show, in my career in sports, it's often felt like banging my head against a wall of like, yes, I know I'm a woman. Like, but is that what? Like, how is this the main thing? And I think we intentionally put the word gossip into our show as sort of like an FU to a lot of these guys who might think that this is somehow beneath them. And can you talk a little bit about what it's like? I know you were a lawyer before too. You still are a lawyer?
I mean, I maintain my license and I do my CLE, but I don't practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would imagine that's a very male world. And now you're in the world of political podcasting. I mean, that's also very like you're kind of like battening down the hatches in these industries that we've chosen. Yeah.
It's funny because, back when I was a baby lawyer, which, I'm 55 years old, so it's been some years. And I would have judges like grab my boobs.
No.
I mean, not like grab, but like put, hey, how you doing? Slide it down the boob.
Oh, I'm
that
so
was just,
sorry.
And you just kind of were like, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, 55-year-old Angie would be like, in fact, I was at the courthouse randomly like a year ago, and the maintenance guy walked in. He's like, sweetie. I was like, she's not your sweetie.
Right.
Yeah.
But, 25-year-old Angie's not going to say that.
Right. Yeah.
So, there is sexism everywhere. How I feel about it, and maybe it's the world I'm in, I feel like it's become even more mainstream now. Misogyny and, just this whole DEI is so bad and all that. And it's like, we have the Pentagon rolling back achievements by women in the military. You have the top of the ticket, adjudicated rapist, calling the Epstein survivors, the Epstein scandal a hoax. I'm just like, are we empowering young women to talk about violence and crimes against them? I don't think we are. I mean, I think generationally, this is going to be something that continues. We're having to fight. Like, I feel like we're back fighting things we already won, because I do feel like it got better. But I will say, even though we get a ton of hate online and Fox News, when they run a story about us, we know because.
Are you a regular?
Oh, no. I mean, if they bring up a clip that we did,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's massive.
That's what I
like,
mean.
Sexual violence threats.
No.
Like email, landline. I mean, it's just awful.
Oh my God.
But
so sorry.
the other liberal podcasters that you meet are the best people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Midas Touch Network. Those three brothers. If we have an issue, hey, what do you think about this? They will immediately drop everything, help us, they promote us. So in our space, because it's so much smaller than the right wing, I feel like everybody lifts everybody up in our space.
Yeah.
But, at people at large, of course we get it. But, the difference in being at the courthouse and online is if you don't read the comments, you really don't know.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting like the emails and the threats and all of that. The phone line is just pulled, but
Right.
it's not, I'm not a comment reader.
Yeah.
So I've actually, one day Jennifer was talking about the bad architecture at evangelical churches. And I was talking about baby talk, like women that baby talk in public to their husbands or spouse. It's so gross.
Yes.
I think
No,
it
thanks.
demeans women everywhere, like infantilizing. So I made that comment. So when the editor sent it, she's like, hey, and I was like, oh, you're going to get a ton of hate about the church thing, blah, 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 blah. Nothing. She came out smelling like a rose. It was me on women defending baby talk. And I was like, this just tells me it's worse than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So ingrained and
Right.
unconscious in some where you want to be like, wake up.
Right.
I wonder, I've felt doing this with Madeline. I feel an enormous amount of confidence. Like I feel way more.
Yeah.
I think if it were just me, and like I've had male co-hosts before, and I felt not nearly as empowered to speak up, or like if I draft an email, Madeline will look at it and be like, take out 10 exclamation points and then take out this sentence and don't apologize. And it's like, oh my God. Do you and
Right.
Jennifer feel that together? I feel like almost invincible doing this with two of us.
Yeah.
Right. You definitely feel stronger together. But we're also a lot older than you guys.
Yeah.
You know, the older you get, the more you realize you don't have to please anybody. And if you don't like something, you don't have to do it. And if you don't like the way someone's speaking, you can be like, I'm out. Like, I don't want any part of that. And so but I definitely am more confident. Like we were on a deal last weekend in New York City, and I was like, if I wasn't with her, I would be a lot more nervous.
Yeah.
But when you go out there together, and it's like we've been friends for so long. The first live show we did, we were just like, we're the biggest assholes. How did we get here? But we were together. It was like, okay, we're going to fail together, or it's going to be successful together. So I think being together, and I do think, I mean, there are a lot of men that lift up women, but there are a lot of men with stereotypes that still exist. Like every single time Harrison Buckner kicks a field goal or extra point, I'm like, I want it to miss. And he's missed some this year. And I'm like,
Yes.
yes.
No.
It is very satisfying.
No, and for people who don't know, Harrison Bucker is a kicker for the Chiefs, and he gave a whole speech at some, Old Dominion Christianity Evangelical University, whatever, about how women shouldn't have jobs,
Right.
blah, blah, blah.
Submit to their husband.
Exactly. And I've noticed that he's been missing. And I'm like, is this a little bit of karma? I don't know.
It might be. Speaking of the NFL, we have to talk about the mess in the NFL right now. Your favorite teams are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Eagles. Is this correct?
Yes, but only Tampa Bay because of Baker Mayfield.
Okay,
like
because of OU.
Yes.
If you're an OU fan, like he's your number one.
Right.
He is just, we loved him. And he still comes back and does camps here. Aww. He has a house in Norman. I mean, he's very active in the community still.
Cool.
So I root for the Bucs because of him. And then Sterling Shepard is one of their wide receivers. So I'm for him too. I like the Eagles just because it's so well organized.
Yeah.
It's efficient. Now this year, I think they'll still get it together. And Jalen Hurts, he's so hot.
He's a babe.
Unbelievable.
He's a babe.
I know.
He could be a male model if he wasn't
Easily.
a professional athlete.
And
Truly.
you know what I like about him? He has an all-female team. And somebody asked him about it, and he said, I picked the best people. It didn't matter to me what their sex was. And I was just like, you're a badass.
Yeah. The Eagles, sometimes, you just gotta say who's hot. I feel like for a while in sports media, it was like women, like you have to be taken seriously. You can't say that you can't objectify them. And I'm like, reverse sexism isn't real. Like Jalen Hurts is hot.
Yeah.
He's hot. I mean, objectively, like that is not an opinion. That is an objective fact.
It's a fact. Oh my God.
Yeah. So the whole Miami Dolphins thing, my son is a huge fan, the one in Houston. So I kind of follow them.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, it's a train wreck.
They're a mess.
It's like one of those train wrecks you're still I don't even want to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's so done.
It's sad.
And I really liked Mike McDonald on Hard Knocks. He seems like a really good guy.
Yeah. I don't know if you feel this way watching NFL or just sports in general. I mean, if you've listened to our show, we talk a lot about vibes and how you can sort of sense things are off. Do you feel like as a sports fan, do you get in touch with that too? Like when you're watching a game across any sport, do you sense or like, okay, there seems to be some issues between these players, or is that not something you think about when you're watching sports?
No, I can totally, like every time Jalen Hurts throws the ball, I'm like, please let it be to, oh my gosh, the receiver, number 11.
AJ Brown?
Yes, please let it be to AJ Brown so we don't have to fight anymore. So we don't have to, so we can just move on from this. But, here's the thing. it's probably way better or way worse than we know. We'll never know.
Right.
But I get a huge vibes things, which I think is like Baker Mayfield. He's got great vibes.
Yes.
I was
Kyler Murray, not great vibes. And I loved him at OU, but he just doesn't have a big vibe thing working. I feel like Jalen Hurts has a great vibe.
Oh, yeah. He's got confidence.
Yes. And there are different kinds of vibes. I was going to say that Baker Mayfield might be the vibes quarterback. Also, I think it takes really good vibes to have a tough time like he did with the Browns and then bouncing around from team to team and then come back and be successful. Like, you don't see that a lot. And a lot of it's mindset. A lot of it is vibes. Yeah. But there are ways to have, like Josh Allen, I wouldn't say he has vibes in the traditional sense, but I think he's started to have more vibes recently. Yeah. Maybe it's marrying Haley Steinfeld. I don't know. Right. But like football wise, his vibes are like very orderly and nice. So they're good.
Right.
Baker Mayfield is like, the flag planting swagger vibe.
Loved it.
It's all relative to, there's nuance within how good a vibe is what I'm trying to say.
No, I completely, if it's too much, it's not good.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to be over. And I also think, this might just be my point of view and perspective, but I think when you find a secure man, a man that's secure in his masculinity, in his intellect with women, all of that, they just give off a better vibe.
Yes.
Than when you have insecure men that constantly you have to tell them, oh, you're the best, you're the greatest, you're the best, you're so good looking, you look great in that. I just think it shows in their vibe, even if they're not with their spouse.
Yeah. It's so true. It honestly, NFL quarterbacks should have to have an evaluation of, are you a misogynist? Because if you are, it will actually hurt our chances of winning.
Right.
Yes.
No, wait. Sorry, hold on. Misogyny is terrible for sports, and men need to remember, if you want your team to win, you need to respect women.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I think you might have had an aha moment here.
With help from both of you.
Well, we need to talk about Aaron Rodgers. One of your kids is a Steelers fan. Is that correct?
Yes. And he loves, I can't stand Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Aaron Rodgers, I feel like, is someone who doesn't quite know who he is. He's constantly soul searching in the wrong places, it feels like. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I do get that sense. I don't know if you watch his documentary, Enigma, but we unfortunately watched all of it.
We did.
See, I didn't. No. I just find him so abrasive and arrogant.
Yeah.
He's so arrogant, and he thinks he's the smartest person in the room. And I just think if you're one of those people that doesn't think anybody else's opinion is going to help, I want everybody's opinion against mine, for mine. Let's talk about it, because that might change my perspective.
Yeah.
That'll give me an opportunity to think about something in a way I hadn't before. And everything about him gives me the jeebs. And I'll tell you what else. Every actress that has a relationship with him, will have a comment like, that destroyed my self-esteem. You know what I mean? It's not glowing reviews after breakups.
Right.
So I just think, and so when he went to the Steelers, I was just like, oh.
I know.
Because my son just loves, in fact, for his birthday, I sent him to a game in Pittsburgh, because we'd seen him, but never in Pittsburgh. And so he went, and of course he loved it. He thinks Aaron Rodgers is great. And I'm just like, whatever.
I know.
No, I do not like him.
I think a lot of people forgive a lot of sins when the person who has sinned is wearing the uniform of their favorite
100%.
team. Look, I'm a Patriots fan, and through all of the cheating scandals, I was just like, well, everybody's cheating. Like, come on.
Right.
What do you know, that's not
you
that
justify.
bad.
Justify your fandom.
Yeah, which, it's a whole own kind of sicko situation. So, oh, man. I just have
What?
I don't know. This is so lovely. Like there's such a feeling of when I watch your show and talking to you, of honesty, and I know authenticity is a word that gets thrown around a lot, but actual honesty where, you guys, you and Jennifer had this amazing interview with Cory Booker where you just called him out and you were like, hey, I don't like that you are saying one thing and then we see you doing another. And it was a really interesting conversation. And he, I thought that it didn't devolve into name it, it was a really respectful conversation, but it was also direct. And I think that's what so many of us are craving in every area. It's like, don't sell me something.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and I think sports, I wonder if you see that at all in the sports world. Obviously, you're a very plugged in fan. Like, do you see any of that sort of rhetorical dancing in sports as well?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I think that's just kind of how we are now,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's the internet or just conditioning or what, but I do see that a lot, and I see it a lot, especially in college football. Just because everybody's like, well, we're going to fire our coach and we're going to do this. And I'm just like, are you? Who are you going to get that's better? Like last year, people were saying, we want to get rid of Brent Venables. I'm like, okay, who's going to be better? You have a mediocre NIL deal. Who is going to be better? Name me somebody. Like, I'm in if you can do it. But it's like, this deal with Penn State. I'm like, okay, you didn't want to be 8-3. Okay. Now you get to learn because we did that. I mean, at OU, we've done that. So we know that like 8 or 9 wins a season, take it and run.
Right. Well, we often talk about on the show that like a lot of media coverage around sports and sports personalities, it's always this like complicated. They're trying to find the answer through all these complicated ways. And often the answer is just the simplest, which is like, to your point, like changing coaches probably won't address the issue. Like we talk about, the vibes on this team just aren't great. Is there really an explanation? Maybe not. Will it change? Probably not. And that's okay. And you have to accept it. But I think it's always in sports, people are trying to find an answer and a better solution for a problem that honestly doesn't exist. And the answer is almost always there isn't an answer. And we just kind of have to deal with it.
Or a lot of times the answer is the top, the leadership, whether that's a board of trustees, whether that's an owner, their behavior is actually influencing everything that's happening down the line. But, firing a visible person is a way to appease fans. And look, sometimes if you've lost the locker room, great. I get it. But a lot of times it's kind of this lip service of like, look, I swear we're trying to do something. We want to win.
Pretend that we're doing our job. We're working.
Right. And I just think the holding on to power, like when you look at like bad NFL franchises, it's the same one, the Jets, the Browns, the Bengals, whatever. I certainly don't have any wisdom on how to be an NFL owner, but like it just seems like the owners that think they're so smart and they get involved in it's just like, let the experts be the experts.
Yes.
Like, let's value expertise again. Let's value science.
Amen.
Let's value, research. Somebody that's dedicated their entire life to football. Maybe you should let them do it. And that's one thing I really admire about the ownership in Oklahoma City for the Thunder. It's like they put the experts in charge and then they let the experts execute the plan.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot, but I see that more in the NFL. And of course, you've got the whole Steve Ballmer thing in LA. So it might be more than I know, but it's just like, I just wish people like, when people came to me for a divorce and then they would show me, oh, well, in Idaho, the judge gave this person, this da-da-da, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, but that's Idaho and that's not what the law is. And so it's like, they pay you for your advice and then they don't do it. And then when they do the exact opposite, then they want you to clean up the mess. And it's like at some point, if you're going to hire an expert, let the expert work.
Yeah.
That's how Jennifer and I got to be friends, is I hired her to do my house. I said, I like softball. I like football. I don't like picking out colors. I don't care. Like, I can walk in my house for the next 50 years and I'll never notice. You just do it. And it was great. I mean, it worked out great. And my house looked great and I loved it. But people that hire experts, then to tell them that they're right, I'm just like, you just went the long way around.
Yeah, you did. It's true.
What has it been like being an OU softball fan recently? Because that seems pretty great.
Actually, I thought last year we did better than I anticipated. I was really mad that we didn't get that Stanford pitcher. I really wanted her. I'm still bitter that Jordy Ball left us to go back to Nebraska for her boyfriend. I want to go girl. Do not give up.
Oh.
But, whatever, not my business, but I'm still not over it. And, when you ride high like that, you're just like, this is the best. I went to the games. I had my softball shirts. I mean, it was so fun. And, we've got that new huge stadium.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
At
We need to
for Loves,
go to
and
a
the Loves
game.
family is
Yes.
very supportive. But at the end of the day, every good thing comes to an end.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like when we didn't get that picture, I was just like, you can't win every year. It's just not fun. But I still want that picture. But we just don't have the money. We can't compete with. We're going to pay a women's softball pitcher $1 million.
Right.
No.
And good for them. Good for her. I'm all for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I know now the NIL. It's like it's really just rips people away who you wanted to stay on your team.
And you're also like, as a college player, I want this for you, but oh my God, come
but
back.
no, not the boyfriend.
I remember I was so naive at one point in my life, in my early days, like maybe in my 20s. I was like, when a player left or transferred, I was just like, they didn't love the school. They didn't love it. How could they not have, like it was a personal thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, not everything's for everyone.
No.
That's just how it works.
That's also why we say on the show that like sports teams are companies, and increasingly so college sports teams are companies too. And we always say your employer is not your friend. So you really, you got to look out for yourself. But when I think with college sports especially, and this is something I noticed when I did the football tour, like I'm a fan of, Boston professional teams and I have a deep connection to them. But like when you're a college football fan, like that's your home.
Yeah.
Like that's not just a team that you like that is run like that's where you went to school. Someone you love went to school. It is such a deeply ingrained personal thing that I could see how you would feel that way more when someone who, especially if you come from out of state, and you're like, wait, you don't love my house? Like what? That's what
You don't love it as much as I do?
Do we need it redecorate? Do we need to call Jen to redecorate it? Like,
No, I totally get that.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that especially with NIL, like, because I always put myself in this position. I'm in college. Somebody offers me $3 million or whatever to go somewhere. Well, of course I'm going. Like, give me a break. I don't care how much you love something or whatever. It's dollars and cents. And, what is the statistic? Like, very few college players go to the NFL.
Yeah.
So this is like your
2%, I
paycheck
think.
forever. Like, cash in now so that you can move forward. So, but the NIL has made it really hard, I think.
Yeah. I think it has taken away a little bit of the, I don't know, authenticity in some ways.
Romance.
But I'm also like, they should pay these players. They're bringing in so much revenue for these
100%.
schools. So it's definitely complicated feelings. Well, Angie, you have been such a lovely guest, and we don't want to take up too much of your time, but we do always ask every single one of our guests the same question, which is, what is your favorite piece of sports gossip in all time in history? It could be recent or in the past. And we love being surprised by our guests' answers.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw you had the girl from North Carolina on, and you asked this from her, and I thought, what would mine be? And I was like, this is going to date me so hard.
No,
Like,
we love
I'm
it.
Please.
So old.
No.
You are not.
So I don't know if y'all remember, you're probably like in your early teens. There was a coach at Baylor that was then the Big Eight, and his name was Mike Price.
Okay.
And pre-Saban, when Alabama was trying to get the right coach, they hired him to be the next coach. And he never coached because he has a party in Alabama with adult female entertainment.
Oh my God.
Everybody's shit-faced. And during adult activities, he's screaming, "Roll Tide." Yes. Yep. And I mean, that like came out on the
God.
news.
No.
Well, maybe it was like sports talk radio. That's probably
That
not the
is
most. But every now and then I think about that. Like when I'll see an Alabama game, I'm like, that guy lost his job because he couldn't just not say "Roll Tide."
because he
Yeah.
that's
With adult entertainment.
That might be one of my
no
favorites.
seriously, we've had a lot we
That
asked
might be
this
one of
of,
my favorites.
we asked this of a lot of people. That might take the cake.
Yeah, I think it does.
We've been saying that we should do a deep dive into the scandals that or the gossip that people bring when we have guests on and they tell us this, and that's going to be the first one we start with.
Yeah, because I'm like, I want to know someone's reaction who was at the party when they heard him say that.
I need to read everything that has ever been
Yeah,
written about this.
If I'm not mistaken, it was like hotel staff that heard the "Roll Tide." Now, but it's been years,
my
but
God.
I just remember thinking, oh my God, that is on the radio. That is, he did that. And he was like I thought he was a grandpa then. I was probably like early 30s. So he's probably my age now. But I'm just like, dude.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Oh.
So he got fired before he ever coached. So we don't know. And he never coached again as far as I know.
Kind of an iconic way to get fired, though, if I'm being honest.
That is.
He had to have a press conference about it.
Also, they always have to have a press conference about it, which is kind of funny. Like when we had Grace on talking about the UNC when he did the press conference after being
Bobby
injured.
Petrino.
Thank you, Bobby Petrino.
That whole thing, when she said that, I was like, that's a great one.
That's a great one.
That's a good one. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And now you're the interim head coach? Whatever.
I know.
Oh
Well, because they, you don't ever really get canceled.
No.
If you're a guy,
if
you're a guy in sports, like this Mike Price guy might be the rare guy who actually got himself canceled if he never coached again.
Back in the day and age when actual accountability was followed through on, maybe.
Yeah.
I think he might have coached again, but I don't think so.
We'll look it up.
Look at Rick Pitino. Speaking of sports scandals, that's one that I was just randomly in an airport and I read that whole thing and I was like, what?
The Adidas, or was that the Adidas scandal?
No, it was like he had sex with a woman for 20 seconds in a restaurant, and she said that he knocked her up, so he sent his guy to take her to get an abortion that he paid for, and then she ended up marrying the guy.
The guy who took her to the appointment?
This whole twisted thing.
Oh my God.
Wait. What? No, I'm full of gossip. This wasn't that long ago, girls. I mean, you guys were probably college age-ish.
Oh
so
my
when you're in
God.
college,
It's
you're not
vaguely ringing a bell, but like not
Okay, I'm gonna have
as
to look
much
this
as
up
it
after this.
should.
Yeah. And the
Okay.
point of the story was it was a 20-second sexual act, and I was like,
20 seconds.
Yikes.
it's got to be tough, man.
Oh man, that's like shorter than a shot clock in basketball.
Wait, yeah, like the
You
whole
should at
shot
least
clock
be
violation.
yes. At least have it be a shot clock violation.
At least at the minimum.
Ladies.
No, it was crazy.
Angie, thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope I didn't take too long.
Oh my God,
Are you
this
kidding?
was amazing.
We could go forever.
Yes.
This was absolutely delightful. Thank you so much. Everybody go listen to I've Had It podcast. You guys have like 1.3 million followers on YouTube.
It's crazy.
You're crushing.
We've been really working on the iHip News portion, which is like 3 15-minute hits a day, just kind of what the breaking news is. Because truth really is stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
So we just kind of try to keep up with that. And then we do our long, flagship show that's grievances and what we're mad about.
Yep.
And so it's really fun. We've enjoyed it.
So great.
And you guys have to go to NC. You just have to. I know you were debating it on the last podcast. No, you have to go.
We'll go.
It's a work assignment.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
It's for research for the show.
Yeah, exactly.
For the show, we need to report back.
Okay.
I know.
All right.
Well, where can people find you on the internet?
We are at I've Had It podcast on Instagram. I'm told we have a TikTok.
Allegedly.
YouTube. iHip News is also, and then we're on all the Apple things. And then our book. You can get the audio book if you haven't gotten sick of my voice already. And or you can buy it on any of the platforms. Thanks for having me, ladies.
Thanks
you
for coming
so
on,
much.
Angie.
We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
What a fabulous conversation. I loved speaking with her so much.
Me too.
I really said it on the show, but I really could have talked to her for another like 3 hours. But then I was like, we don't need to be one of those podcasts that's like 3 hours long. That's too much.
Joe Rogan over I was like,
too much.
I had all these. I was like, I wanted to be like, how is being a divorce lawyer? What does that teach you about sports? Like, so we'll have to have her back on.
We'll have to have her back on.
No, it felt like that felt cathartic.
Yes.
I can't explain it. It felt like, I feel like, so many sports shows, stick to sports, like purposely don't talk about politics. We also want to be a place where you're not inundated by bad news all the time, where you can escape, but also like, we also don't think that sports should be like a get out of jail free card for the world.
No.
Like you do have to read the news sometimes.
Yes.
And so when being able to talk about the political side of sports explicitly in an episode, felt, we're not going to do this all the time.
Right.
But it feels in this climate like, there are a lot of conservative sports hosts. Why not tip the scales a little bit? I don't know.
Stir the pot.
Sure.
It was great. And like sports are inherently political, and to pretend like they're not is just like Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
As Fox News host Laura Ingraham said to LeBron James, "Shut up and dribble."
Yes, she did say that. I forgot about that.
We shall not.
We shall not.
Can't even really dribble anyway.
I'm going to be dribbling all day, baby. But thank you so much for listening or watching. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Sports Gossip Show on YouTube and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on Instagram at Sports Gossip and on TikTok at Sports Gossip Show. All of those things, sharing clips, liking, commenting, saving, really makes a huge difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you to Angie.
Thank you, Angie. Oh my God, thank you so much. I can't wait to read your book. Yeah, it was great.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.